And just because this little ignorant got a few dollars, he make all of you that's supposed to be real run after his mission? This is a problem, Jay Prince. And I'm going to tell you like this. If you're 60 years old and you're trying to be a street, you failed. You failed. You failed. You failed.
I never expected this little feud with Shakur Stevenson and Mase and Camron to drag on this far. But here we are. Jay Prince has entered the chat. Jay Prince's son Drake has entered the chat. Everybody is entering the chat, and it's beginning to look like one hell of a mess.
Drake is beefing with Kendrick Lamar as we speak. I have not heard this. The first time Drake got into some, and I hear you say to Kendrick Lamar now. Why do you think that you could tell us what we can and cannot say, Mark?
Okay, in case you're wondering, what am I even talking about? What happened was that Shakur had a fight with Artem Harutyunyan and cruised to an easy victory. But what should have been a celebratory time for him turned a bit sour because his performance was being criticized once again for lacking in the excitement department. Like, people are straight up calling him boring. Again. Now, Mase and Camron were some of the people who criticized Shakur's recent fight for being boring.
I don't want to see Shakur fight. I'm just going to be honest. No disrespect to Newark, but I don't want to see Shakur fight nobody. I mean, it's like for him to be hanging out with Terrence Crawford and Andre Ward, there is absolutely no way that he's fighting the way he's fighting. I mean...
And Shakur was not here for the criticism, especially from Mase and Camron. So he took to X and began ranting about Mase and Camron and responding to users who engaged with him for like 3 hours, y'all. 3 hours. First, he went on about Mase's failed career, saying, same way I felt about his rap career. Ninja more famous for his podcast than his failed career. He also went on to call Mase a fake pastor and even threatened the hosts by adding, and tell them ninjas watch the way they talk on that podcast, cause I ain't ducking no smoke. Lil old me ready to go to war with all these soft behind ninjas. He also wrote in another tweet, you know what irks me? When a ninja talk boxing, but ain't never glove up. This fat Mase and big teeth and Camron need to shut up. They never step foot in a boxing ring. We got all types of entertainers gloving up. Tell these ninjas to glove up or shut up. Child, when I tell you that this rant on X went on for about 3 hours, I mean exactly that. And Mase and Camron were just like, see, you doing more fighting on social media than you do in the ring. In fact, during the next appearance on It Is What It Is, they opened up more about the kind of player Shakur is, and they insisted that Shakur can say whatever he wants, but that won't change the fact that he's boring.
Now, what I will say, this is the most entertainment we've seen out of you in the last 2 years. This was kind of funny. This is the most entertainment we've seen out of you in 2 years. Congratulations.
Well, guess what? Jay Prince, who also manages Shakur Stevenson, also entered the chat and dragged Mase and Camron for the shots they took at his fighter. First of all, he highlighted the fact that Shakur's fight was ESPN's most watched boxing event of the year by writing on Instagram, numbers don't lie, haters do. Let the haters say he's boring and nobody wants to watch him. Sorry to tell you, it's just a select few of you haters. As you can see, there's proof that he has the #1 ratings on any fight on ESPN this year and the top 3 ratings since 2022. He then directly addressed Cam and Mase, adding, and to all of you haters who want to escalate that hate outside of the ring, I'm Shakur's manager and I handle all his business outside of the ring. In other words, Cam and Mase, I will fade all his shots and take all bets. Let's just say that Mase and Cam did not appreciate how Jay Prince called them out, and when they went back on the show, man, they torched the hell out of Prince. Wait, even before that, the official It Is What It Is Instagram account posted a video of Shakur's promoter Bob Arum admitting that the fighter's defensive style does not attract fans.
Poor Stevenson been frustrated publicly at times with getting the big fights.
Tank Davis has no problem fighting anybody because he brings to the table hundreds of thousands of fans. Shakur, because of his style, doesn't.
Then they also wrote in the caption, the fight was free 99. So yeah, numbers do lie sometimes. Ninjas mad at us for saying what everybody else saying, including the people who Shakur was signed to. The podcast also reposted a video a fan in attendance sent out on social media of fans leaving the fight before the 12th and last round was about to begin. And when they had another episode on their podcast, they dragged Jay Prince through the mud.
For real, all that big homie stuff, that's for little niggas. Little niggas have big homies. We're not little niggas. So we don't even respect big homies. I know Killer doesn't. And for me, I never respected
streets. That's why I always got the problems I got. But tell me, Mase, chill. No, chill for what? Who is this? That's how I feel listening to this, man. Like, I want to respect you, but I can't.
Mase also pointed out Shakur and Prince's handling of this non-situation as an example of where the game got messed up. In addition, he also added that he and Kanye were spending time together recently, with a J. Prince FaceTime call having taken place during their meeting. So he was seriously questioning J. Prince's intention with his comments.
So I don't even know why he would come at me with that energy. You know what I'm saying? I felt really disrespected by him doing it. There's certain people you're supposed to come at like that, and I'm not one of them.
As has been the norm, Camron co-signed Mase's statement with an enthusiastically delivered, "That's what I'm talking about," before eventually giving his own take. He specifically said that he is sick of talking about Shakur, arguing that this is the most traction the fighter has ever received at this level, and also made a point to emphasize Mase's point about age and respect when it comes to Prince.
You 60, what are you talking about? What are you, bro? I lost mad respect for you because I used to have mad respect for you. When you had Shakur with you, when you lined Young Boy NBA up, why the got Shakur with you? And this is why he acting like that. This is exactly why he acting like that.
Well, technically, Prince is not 60 yet, but you get the point, right? Anyway, Camron and Mase also spoke about the issues with the selectiveness that Prince has employed when calling people out in this fashion, because he didn't react the same way to Kendrick Lamar about the Drake situation.
He said something to Puff, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said nothing to Kendrick.
Right.
He says something, and I know you're going to elaborate about this later. He says something to the dudes in New York, but that didn't really go over well.
As far as what?
Whatever kid that was that got the chain taken.
Right.
And then you're going to talk about all of it. I'm going to let you talk about it more in detail, but he didn't say nothing to whack. Like, it's like, so when you come talking to me, I feel like you're very selective.
Basically, Mase was pointing out how J. Prince has been selective in calling people out, and his message to him was, in short, "I won't let you come at me like that." The same goes to Cam, who basically called him old and said he should be checking Shakur, who has only gotten traction because they have talked about him for like 2 weeks now. As for what other people thought about the entire situation, we had people saying that it's outrageous for J. Prince to be going at Camron and Mase like that. Like this person who wrote, "At J. Prince, respect. You can't be mad at folks critical of what they paid for and viewed. You ain't pleased with everything you see and speak out. Do anyone make Instagram posts to get at you? Do unto others as you have them do unto you. Try to talk like that to them over sports is wild." Someone else also added, "He's 100% right. Number 1, the fight was free. Number 2, it was a boring fight. Number 3, he is way too old for this type of behavior. And if you're an OG, you don't get on social media to address these things. The message would have been delivered without any exposure. That's self-incrimination. Publicity at that. SN, we watch because we want to see Shakur take off. No one is wishing bad on him. The community supports him, but his performance was trash this time. Get back in the gym and make something happen." Generally, a lot of people were saying that there's a reason why Shakur was boxing on ESPN for free. And that's because, like Mase and Camron said, he's boring. And obviously, J. Prince's other son, Prince Jr., also had to give his 2 cents.
Try to glorify bull. Like you to glorify soft. Glorify niggas that ain't that flaw. We know when niggas flaw when we deal with them in the streets. We know when they flaw. Like we understand that they flaw. We don't capitalize off their flawness though, because we'll capitalize off real. We ain't gonna capitalize off being flawed, weak as hell. We understand what a is hell. Then he a street, call himself a street. He could be a street, but he's still weak as hell. We don't capitalize and try to glorify this. We gonna sit here and have conversations about niggas as strong as us. We don't have conversations about niggas as weak as hell.
Again, what he says goes over my head. It's always a whole lot of nothing. Child, I have a feeling either Shakur or J. Prince will respond again. So I don't think we've seen the end of it. But meanwhile, what are your thoughts on how Mase and Camron torched J. Prince and Shakur? Do you believe that just like they said, Shakur is actually boring? And what are your thoughts on Cam and Mase saying that Prince has been selective with the people he has chosen to call out? Sound off in the comments section down below.